picture that you see on the screen is of two personnel. The lady's name is Rosemary Hayden. The man's name is Dwight Garrick. Mrs. Rosemary is known as Granny, and the boyfriend, is known as Rocco. I am speaking about an incident that has been taking place in a place called Forest District that is in Bambo. Bambo is in St. Anne, where a 12-year-old young girl has been touched up, jumped over a fence by the boyfriend of the granny known as Rocco. This has been happening since last year summer. You know, when you're there at school and you go up on summer break, you go and spend time with your family in the country, family wherever. And you have a joyous time. However, this is a tragedy for this 12-year-old girl. So fast forward from summer of last year, 2024, to about a week or so, the same thing has been happening. The young girl told her grandmother, Rosemary, the first time that it took place. Based on what the little girl said, the grandmother rushed the man. However, it did not stop. It paused for about a week or so. And whenever Granny would go to the town, the little man would jump over our fence, meaning doing everything, touching her up on places that he should not touch her up, and also penetration without any sorts of condom. Not to say that if he used one, it would make it any sorts of better, but me just say, raw dog, that is how he was dealing with this girl that is 12 or was 12 at the time. So the young girl tell the granny, Rosemary rushed him with a machete the first time. She keep telling him. The granny start to tell her, say she had tell lie. The man or the boyfriend, Mr. Rocco, would tell the girlfriend, which is Granny, that the girl is lying. The boyfriend would then beat up the little pitney, so would the granny. So every time she made a report to the grandmother that the boyfriend is touching her up or he is jumping over her fence, she would get beaten from both. She thought that she was stuck between a rock and a hard place. She decided that she's going to go to school and she's going to tell the teacher. She is going to tell her friends. When she told the teacher, instead of the teacher making a formal report to the police station, the teacher would call the boyfriend Rocco, and of course, Rocco would deny it, and Rocco would give her a royal BEATING when she got home, and also the granny. No report was filed. Now, people, here's the situation as it pertains to this little girl's situation. It is said that the mother lost her life. Don't know the circumstances as to how the mother lost her life. So the grandmother took the child in because of financial gains, because the father of this little girl lives overseas. Yes, he's a deadbeat dad, but there are also family members that take care of this little girl, make sure say she get money. Money is sent through Western Union, MoneyGram, Rete, Lele, Blue, blah, bling. So the grandmother ulterior motive for taking this child is because she knows that she would get the proceeds of the Western Union. So she does not really care about the life, does not really care about the health, does not really care about the physical or emotional well-being of this child. She is just doing it. She puts the man, Rocco, gives him preference. And even when the child has reported on many occasions, with the exception of the first time, she rushed the man with a machete, but after that, she started to defend the man. She started to take it out on this little child. Now, people, there's a whole bunch of things that went wrong as it pertains to this. First of all, when you take and send your pick them to certain people, make sure say you know their background. And sometimes you are not going to know. However, if that child reports to family member, which she did, which is a family member that called me, contacted me, or close family friend that contacted me, and tell them that, listen, this child or the child tells them that she's in a problem, that family member or friend, close confidant, should do everything within their power to get this child out of the company of Granny and Rocco. Based on the information, it is said that the father that lives overseas, which is also a deadbeat dad, when the daughter tell him the circumstance, he would call Rocco, he would call the granny, and of course, all of them is going to lie. Rocco because he does not want to go to prison, and the granny because she wants the proceeds of the Western Union. So problem in the house in which the granny is not defending the child. She is taken up for the man. She is taken up for cocky. Problem in the school in that the school did not make a formal report to the police station and get these girls out of harm's way. Based on the family member that contacted me, this is what they did. They told the granny that, listen, the child have some family member that is coming to Kingston and they're going to give her some money to give the granny. So the granny sent the little girl. That is when they held on, meaning concerned family members, held on to this little girl and took her to a safe place, took her to the police station, took her to the Child Protection Agency and filed a formal report. I have all the voice notes from the little girl. I have pictures, I have screenshots of this man sending all sorts of texts, meaning Rocco to this little girl, telling her how he loves her, all kind of sexual kind of rigmarole. The person that sent me the information, I told them, listen, send me a voice note. They said that they don't really want the information or have their voice out there. They just want to put this man on blast for the deeds that he has been doing, and also the granny that is facilitating and covering up and is in the denial. So people, at the end of the day, we see that this is a big problem in Jamaica. This has been going on in Jamaica for decades. If you ask probably 7 out of 10 young girls, they are going to tell you that them uncle, them father, them neighbor, whomever touched them up at some times in their life. So therefore, this is an epidemic that has been going on in Jamaica. And not only Jamaica, based on what you see going on social media. Some of these people might not do the deeds themselves, but they are also facilitators. And it is obvious by a case that has been going on YouTube with one of your favorite YouTube or some of your favorite YouTube personality. Some of you people are a set of junkro. You might not be doing the deed yourself. However, you are facilitating. You are telling these scumbags that you are praying for them. So not only are these people that are touching up these picnic bad, their facilitators also should be blamed. They are in the same category as far as I am concerned. People, again, like I said, this is just to put these people out and blast for their deeds, for touching up and jumping over the fence of this young girl, point blank and period. It's a very controversial takeaway of a young lady, 20-year-old Jamar Sukou. She was allegedly taken out by Constable Jose. He works in special operation. Based on the information, it is said that they met at a hotel, Hotel Versailles, that is in Maypen. Maypen is in Clarendon. Based on the 2 accounts of the constable, he claimed that she was on the bed at one time. He placed his licensed firepiece, government-issued licensed firepiece on the bed. He then heard a loud explosion, claiming that while she was sleeping, she turned around, tossed around, her hand pressed the trigger. The trigger went off and she was hit in the chest. A next account that he gave, about 7 p.m. in the evening, they were getting ready to go get some food. He was stuck in his firepiece in his waist. It slipped and was falling. He grabbed onto it and it discharged around. That round hit her in the chest. Now, people, these are 2 different accounts, 2 different stories that is coming from one man about one occasion. Now, what is also even worse about this situation is that it is said that the police is not even the main man. The police is the side man, but it seems as if she was playing games with the police and the main man. And it seems as if the police did not want to accept his role in the pecking order, or the police was given money, financial assistance, whatever else. And he thought that he was not getting the loyalty that he deserved. So more than likely, this is because of some sorts of jealous rage. This man gets in his feeling and a carry belly for the people and woman that is actually not his. People, we cannot make up these stories. These police, these people, these young youth, young generation of Jamaica, they are jealous, they are obsessive, they are condemned, they are evil, they are demonic. And such is the case in this case. Now, people, when we hear stuff like this and we think about the fact that this is somebody that works with the JCF, they are supposed to serve and protect. They are not supposed to have their name placed in any sorts of controversial takeaway, especially when it comes to girlfriend, especially when it comes to matey, especially when it comes to being jealous, obsessive. Most persons are surmising that more than likely this is the case. Based on the information, it is said that this young lady works as a bartender. She's from Westmoreland, left from Westmoreland, came to Maypen to meet this man at that hotel. They were in room 7. Now, if we listen to this man's story, he would basically be defying gravity. Based on his story, the gun was on the bed, story numero uno. The lady probably tossed and turned her finger, went in the trigger, pressed it, it went off, hitting her in the chest. Second story, him had tucked the gun. They were getting ready to go on the street to get some food. The gun went off. Remember, this gun was dropping from his waist. How does a gun that drop from the waist? What type of angle? How? What's the possibility of that happening? And people, I am not saying that it cannot happen, but based on the fact of the inconsistencies of his story, it tells us that something, some sorts of lie, something is not consistent with his story. The fact that this girl is a bartender, the fact that you know that police are jealous, obsessive, the fact that police give the most bun and get the most bun, the fact that bartenders is said to have a reputation, and even if they are not doing anything, people are always going to accuse them because they are always in the company of men that are under the influence, men that come into some sorts of bar, see a pretty bartender, send some sorts of argument to her, next thing you know, some sorts of relationship develop. So when you look at the MO of police, most police, and the fact that this man, Constable Hussey, works in a special operation, and you know the reputation of special operation, they are known for controversial takeaway, all sorts of controversy as it pertains to people losing their life. And here's the disturbing thing about this. It is going to be his story against hers, and like them say, DEAD, man or woman, tells no tale. But if Indicom does its job like it is supposed to, and go for the forensic evidence, the evidence crime scene, and see and analyze and assess the situation, they would know that it is defying gravity if this actually happened. So I say this to say that the criteria of being guilty without a shadow of a doubt. If there is a shadow of doubt that this lawyer for this man can put up, which you know, whenever these police get in any sorts of problem, they're always going to get the backing of the badge and the police federation, the best lawyers that money can buy. And just based on the recent history, when it comes to courthouse and when it comes to these big name lawyers, it seems as if they mesmerize the jury. It seems as if once the jury see these lawyers, them kind of lose. They're always going to vote in the favor. The verdict is always going to be in the favor of the suspect, meaning Constable Hussey. And you know that the system and the JCF is practically the same thing. It seems as if they put less effort when it comes to police, when it comes to people with any sorts of power. Power and police is a bad combination versus anybody that is trying to get any sorts of justice, any sorts of victim. People, it is a very sad state of affairs in Jamaica. However, that is the reality that we all have to deal with. Sad to say, point blank and period.